In this next segment, I want to do some more cropping, show you some more cropping thoughts and techniques. And in this case, I want to work on orientation, on changing the orientation of an image and see what a huge impact that can have on what an image looks like and how it's composed. So we're going to work with virtual copies again. We're going to go into the crop tool. And here we have the lovely Zipper Dog and his dad on the mudflats at Ketchimek Bay in front of our house at low tide. And this is a nice environmental portrait. But if we wanted to be more of just a straight portrait and less about the environment, a simple crop doing something like this, giving a little bit of cushion along the outside on top of the mountains as well as around Zip and his dad. And let's go back to G. We compare these two images. And it's not necessarily in this case that one image is better than the other. It's just that this is more of an environmental portrait and this is less of an environmental portrait and more about just the two primary subjects. But notice how the two images really do look very different. And let's go look at these palm trees and see what we might do here. Go to the crop tool. Love the top half of this image. Bottom half, not so interesting, right? And it's a landscape, but it's kind of a boxy landscape. We can take out the bottom third or 35% of this image, and I'm going to crop right up to the base of this tree here. And notice what this does is it augments all the horizontal eye lines here. Because the trees are already cut off anyway, so let's emphasize all this horizontal nature. And then when we hit OK and we compare these two images, look how different they are. And I think this is a much nicer image and really elongates those nice eye lines in the original image, which are cut off by all that kind of nastiness in the bottom. All right, and then this one, a single palm tree. And notice that the left half to the image is very simple. The right half, all this kind of chaos going on here, all this overlapping. And we could just turn this horizontal into a vertical image like this and tighten it up. Boom. And look at the difference between these two images. Holy smokes. All right, this is very simple, very stark. And just by eliminating all of this chaos over here and changing the format from horizontal to vertical, right, from landscape to portrait, we end up with a nice portrait, an environmental portrait of the palm tree. And of course, no discussion of cropping would be appropriate without some discussion of caribou in Alaska, right? And I love to call this one caribou in a can. I love this. I came around the corner in Denali National Park, which is where I shot this, and there was the caribou. It looked like he was walking out of the head. So what I'm going to do here is take out most of the right-hand side and hit OK. And notice what happens when we do this, when we compare these two images, is everything vertical in this image becomes emphasized. And most importantly, see how the antlers really stand out in the image that we've cropped? We've gotten rid of this portion of the image, which is blown out and too light anyway. So we get rid of it and really emphasize all the vertical natures of this image, and particularly the caribou. Works like a champ. All right. And then this image with the wine glass on the hood, in this case, what I'm going to do is completely change the orientation of the image from vertical, all right, to horizontal. We pull it down, leave just enough room so that we've got a nice cushion on top, all right? And we could actually take out some of the car if we wanted to, like this, because this is not very important here. We keep that nice slope right there, then hit OK, right? And then compare these two images and see how very different they are. One is not necessarily better than the other, but boy, do you end up with two completely different looking images. And then finally, one more, go to the crop tool. This is a beautiful image just the way it is. It's my partner, Christina, kayaking in one of our favorite kayak places, which is Tutka Bay Fjord, across the bay from our house in Homer. Love this shot, but sometimes I just like to get down to the essence of what I'm capturing. And there you go. With a crop like that, which is a semi-landscape image and turned into a really narrow super landscape image. And then when we go back and we compare these two images, how different they are. And this is all about the look and feel of the mist. I'm not distracted by the beautiful mountains in the background. All right, so there's cropping for orientation. And boy, can we end up with some really different looking images just by applying some crops. And more often than not, I'm capturing more than what I want, and it gives me room to move and to crop when I finish my final images.